You know, um, you guys banged, and I just want a shot, and I mean, like a lot of the people in our thing, I don't know, I didn't catch it at first because, right, we do play with, I didn't, we talked yesterday. We talked about about the way in which about our media system, what's on it. Um, and I don't mean to smile, but that we because we play a delusions of reference game, and that a lot of us like this story they're airing a story about it's been on a lot about this mayor in Canada, who's has a drug and alcohol problem and is making statements and it's because we sometimes play delusions of reference game and I kind of things to get everyone's ego in check, and like a lot of the people in the thing, it's not a secret, like I've had problems with addiction, and but it did, but this so we play a game sometimes, but this with what you knock with what's on certain things on the news. But actually, this time, this morning, it's different, and it does relate to what people really don't like. Sort of, we would hope people would realize, but you know, um, this is a mayor in Canada. Okay, I just want to say something about also last night I think there was William Shatner is a Canadian everyone likes. He's on was interviewed, and the topic, of course, then the topic for everyone is the main concern right now. The political concern in the country is like moving towards you know properly functioning national healthcare system like they have in all other civilized industrial countries. You know, ours can be better, if we like, but this we talked about the one of the things that takes place, one of the way in which it works is that like what is brought it's the wrong news for this. Oh, many of these things are simply the wrong news for the society we live in, but often like there's some kind of like it's like unfortunately it's also just like ironic, by which I mean, you know, we certainly have no national. I mean, this is not a matter of national interest. This like buffoon, like of a mayor in Canada, has made. I mean, so I don't know if the Canadians are that interested, or have what their level of interest in, like, but where whatever locality he's the mayor in Canada, it's probably a big scandal. I don't know if in all of Canada they care, but it's just I don't know what their level of interest in sort of the sort of more tabloid style things that happen. Like it's he's just sort of a buffoon. It's ridiculous. He's obviously very sick, and I support anyone going into recovery, narrators in recovery, but number one, it's going on in a locality in Canada. Okay, so there's no reason this needs to be on our news at all. It's the wrong news, but it's unfortunate that one of the things that would be what's blocking out is people aren't noticing. I mean, when I say they're not noticing, I mean there's only so much time repeating the same type of stories, like, on a 24-hour news cycle that's going to close out and not leave time for other things. There's going to, other things like that we like a national discussion about national health care and what the progress is. We would like to know by what mechanism certain people had plans canceled. That certainly we talked yesterday about wanting to have, if we had a functioning democracy, that if two parties actually did what having different parties was supposed to do, that is, there were Republicans saying like terrific. Like there is affordable health care. From it's slowly building like it did in Massachusetts. Towards millions of people having affordable health care, but there's a certain percentage there's serious problems, and we're gonna talk about. We don't want to find out by what mechanism certain people had these sort of subpar plans canceled. What's taking place there, and what can we change about the law? That's what you'd want a functioning second other party to look into. We should be talking about that. But in Canada, every time I see this buffoon mayor story, and our delusions of reference game, sort of a caricature reminds me like a lot of people who've dealt with addiction, like it's a poor bastard, look at this guy. But actually, the irony is, in Canada it's not that we have to have their healthcare system or anything like that. Everyone can have a civilization in their own way, but the idea that I don't know if in Canada they care that much in some other locality that the mayor of another locality is sort of sick and probably should step down or something, is made a fool of himself, like many people do in their addiction. I don't know that it's that interesting in Canada, but Canadians are the kind of people that really do wonder how there could be, it's just the country to our north. They probably do wonder well, Americans they don't care what happens if someone gets sick there, and they're not what happens. I mean, millions and millions of people. What if they need? What if they get sick? They can't go to a doctor. It's probably very. They probably don't know what to make of it. That there's an industrialized country that's there. We sort of are like a trade block with them. I mean, they don't know why we don't. They're not. Even have an interest in working towards having healthcare, some kind of affordable healthcare for people. And I don't know if they realize in Canada won't be, because our news is preoccupying the public with a story about a mayor in Canada who's sort of ill, and it's actually very sad. But that's why our news is covered up with news about one of a Canadian mayor, that they probably aren't paying too much attention to this in Canada. It's always the wrong news for the society we live in. I don't know what it's doing to the public psychologically, but that's the answer to a lot of questions about that people don't understand what's being done to them. But in the case of the fact that it's Canada has a healthcare system. See, also the point that he's an addict. A lot of why people need access. Your narratives had a lot of privilege. I've had access to treatment for all kinds of addiction. I recognize this state that mayor's in. That's why I went into recovery. But I'm in a privileged sector. There's many people dealing with addiction, suffering with addiction, dying of addiction in our country who can't go get treatment. They can't get treatment, and the democracy isn't functioning properly. People are distracted. It's not that they're distracted. This is what's being presented to them as the national news. They're distracted from talking about, the millions and millions of people dealing with addiction that don't yet have access to affordable health care, and that people who want there to be no such thing, apparently, because they perceive they're playing in a game with the other political party, and the job is to block what they do. It's difficult to watch.